What is up, YouTube? Third Impact here, bringing you the 10th episode of Space Dandy, titled I'm Never Remembering You, Baby. Now, I gotta apologize, this review's a little bit late. I've just been so swamped with schoolwork and stuff lately, combined with the fact that at the end of this episode, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to say in my video. I mean, the main reason is the schoolwork, of course, but well, the only way I know how to make it up to you guys is by offering a slightly new camera angle of my room. You can see a little bit more stuff over there. And I know that that's not going to be that much, but, it's the best I can do. And getting right into the episode, that episode. At the end of Plants Are Living Things 2, baby, I felt that I wasn't really going to have much to say in my YouTube video, that I didn't really know how to interpret it or analyze it, but I quickly understood after thinking it over for a little bit. This episode, I've had an extended period of time to think about, longer than all my other Space Dandy episode reviews, and I'm still at a loss for what exactly occurred in that episode. Now, I don't just want to bring up a summary of the events and like read them off to you and explain it like some guru because I don't really feel like that's the point of this episode. I think this episode is supposed to challenge you to be able to follow it and understand what happened, and I'm gonna have to rewatch it, and I'm gonna have to rewatch it multiple times in order to really get it. I feel, but I think you're supposed to feel a little dumb at the end of the episode, or to be like, okay, well, I don't know. If not, maybe that's just me. Anyways, this episode has some really great animation at times, but I mean, starting with the actual plot. Sorry, the episode begins with Dandy, Meow, and QT with a box. The box apparently has a rare alien inside of it that they want to get registered. But if they open the box, they're going to forget that they ever saw the alien. And this already introduces a weird sort of paradoxical opening scene that gets you thinking and kind of confused about where they're going with this episode. Because, I mean, Scarlett's like, well, how could you remember that if you see it, you'll forget if you've never seen it? All of these sorts of things. And this is interrupted by an alarm going off, which even just this alarm going off and the lights being shown for this alarm are very stylized and they look very, very crazy. So it was at moments like that where the animation in this episode really stood out when they chose to emphasize these kind of stranger things and stylize them. Same with Dandy's ship taking off looked very cool. But the most awesome part of this episode, of course, was when Dandy used warp and ended up right beside the Gogol fleet. And in this scene, this is like almost like a climactic seeming scene because Danny turns his ship right around and uses this laser we've never seen to destroy a huge portion of the Gogol fleet. Like you actually see Dandy as a fighter, and it's really cool. And then they launch all these missiles at him. He warps out, and that sequence in the episode was like one of the most holy crap moments in all of Dandy so far. It was like very action heavy for a couple minutes there. But if we move away from some of the action and animation and look at more of the content in this episode, it's about how Admiral Perry took this book out of this galaxy universe famous library. It's a library planet. And Admiral Perry took out this book, The Secret of the Cosmos for Dummies. At some point in time, Dandy, Meow, and QT stole this book, and it has a little pamphlet in it that tells them to go back to this library planet for a special offer. So obviously they want to go and see what the special offer is, and in doing so are bringing this book back. And the thing that happens in this episode is that it turns out that the book and the pamphlet inside the book are sentient beings who are extremely intelligent but can't move themselves, and that they use other people to think for them and manipulate other people in order to achieve their wills. So this is where it gets a little bit complicated because during the entire episode we see Dr. Gel sort of in a crazed state trying to decipher this code or figure out this hidden piece of knowledge. And by the end of the episode, it's meant to appear as though Dr. Gel was actually being manipulated by these paper aliens. I'm not sure specifically. The knowledge went back to the main book. So this is what confuses me because the book was with Dandy, Meow, and QT, somehow was also influencing Dr. Gel. Was this from them just meeting Dr. Gel and their adventures? I'm not sure 100% how that worked, but from when Dandy when Danny originally looks at the pamphlet in the book, he thinks that there's something missing on it, and he draws this little set of boobs like within the text. And at the end of the episode, Doctor Chell says he's found the secret to the code, and it's like, I guess the secret to the code from this uh, Secret to the Cosmos for Dummies book would have been like the secret to the universe, or they justified it in this episode as the secret to Dandy's extreme luck or ability. And it's boobies is the answer. It's I know, okay, a lot of this episode is just sounding like rambling, but I mean, if you saw this episode, hopefully you know where I'm coming from or what I'm talking about here. There's another part about how um, the boobies waitress, Honey, when Dandy and them left, she said something like, "Well, it's strange. Dandy comes here all the time, but it seems like he hadn't been here in a long time." Um, I'm sure that has something to do with them being manipulated by this book, but did that have to do with um, them being sidetracked on their adventures from prior episodes, or were they stuck in some sort of loop being led by this book? Is the plot of the show going to be changing or being different in any way now that those books are returned, or did they have anything to do with the plot thus far? And the other really strange part is at the end of the story, for returning these paper book people to their planet, they're rewarded with a rare alien. Only problem is if they open it before the time is right, they'll forget their memory. And then this opens up another like time loop paradox in that being the box that they take to Scarlet. Then it turns out being a VHS, and then it ends with the narrator saying how this was just the beginning of this new life form that began to pop out, Blu-rays and DVDs and VHSs, and it started a battle between them, and then eventually this battle consumed the universe, but now nobody remembers, and this episode blew my mind in weird ways. Not like blew my mind in like eye-opening ways, just blew it apart and made me feel like what did I just look at? What was that? But is cool because I feel like we haven't had an episode like that of Space Dandy yet. An episode that I don't want to say complex because I'm not even 100% sure how good a job they did of really conveying what the story was, but maybe they just did a really good job and I missed it, but it just seemed like such a different episode of Space Dandy than usual. And it's just really great that we're still getting that variety and that I can be done watching an episode of Space Dandy and feel a completely different way than I did from the episode before. So I know a lot of crazy rambling this episode and a lot of me trying to figure out what actually happened in this episode while recalling it in my head. But I mean, thanks for sticking around and watching all this. Please subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. And I'm just so excited for the penultimate episode of Kill La Kill coming out in just 2 days. So excited for that in the season finale. And I just finished a bunch of schoolwork, so I'm feeling a lot better about all that stuff and making these videos, so that's great. And I will see you guys later. Peace out. And I mean, hopefully the next episode of Space Dandy is a little bit more easy to follow. Not that this was bad, but see you guys later.